Hey guys, today I'm going to go through something a little bit different. In the last couple weeks, I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They're sending me inquiries to our website at pescatarianfishing.com, and they want to get into saltwater fishing, right? And they need help with what rod should I get. And really, it all really depends on which species you're going to target, right? Similar to how you would play golf, you've got different golf clubs for different things. Same thing with fishing. So a couple of the people asked me, they're just starting basic, what should I get? And I thought, if we got a handful of people that have these questions, there's probably a lot more that have them. So I'm going to take the time and kind of go through what I think you should use if you're just starting out, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why. So the first thing that you want to do, here in Florida, there's a lot of yellowtail snapper fishing. So we like to use a small reel. This is a 6,000. You get a 5,000 reel. They're very, very light. The rod is a lighter rod, fast action tip, so you could really see a lot of the action. And you really want to go with a lighter reel, right? A smaller one. From a brand perspective, we use Shimano, but all of the companies, Penn, Daiwa, they all make small reels that are good reels. The reason why I like the smaller ones is because when you're yellowtail fishing, this thing is in your hand for a long time. And you're flatlining and you're fighting the fish. If you have a big, heavy reel, your arm's gonna start getting tired of holding the reel. Okay, so I like the lighter reels that really don't give me a lot of strain in my arm. The other thing that I would tell you when you're buying the reels, and all the companies have budget-friendly reels, all the way to the baddest reels on the market. Penn, Shimano, Daiwa, they all have it. When you buy the reels, don't go and get the cheapest one, the cheapest rod and reel combo, because as you get into it, you're gonna regret it. The key with the reels is you want a reel that's got some good drag and a good line retrieval, the gear ratio in the reel. So if you buy the cheap stuff, you're gonna wind up regretting it in the long run. So obviously, you don't have to go spend thousands of dollars on the reels, but all of these good companies that make reels, again, like I said, Shimano, Penn, Daiwa, they're all gonna have good, affordable reels within the price that you're looking for. But I wouldn't go out and get the cheap stuff because you're gonna regret it. So you wanna have a good rod for yellowtail. I like to load the rods up with braid. You can load it up with mono for yellowtail, but we put braid on it, and then we put a Top Shot leader on it. 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 12 pounds. Sometimes it goes as light as 8. All depends on the water clarity and how big the fish are. It depends, you know, when you're yellowtailing, you're going to get sharks, you're going to get barracudas. Sometimes you're going to need to go up on your ladle and muscle them into the boat before you get the sharks and the barracudas eating it. But if you're starting out, if you're going to be fishing by yourself, one of them. If you're going to be fishing with a buddy, I would say have 2 of these rods. You could go out to the Patch Reef, start putting out chum, and all across South Florida and the Keys, you're going to be able to find yellowtail snapper. They are one of the best tasting fish that you can eat. Excellent table fare. So I would highly recommend 2 of these to start. The next thing I would tell you is if you're going to be going offshore fishing, I would never leave the dock without a rod that is rigged with a jig. Okay, this I have on an 8,000 size reel, and I've got we'll always run with 2 or 3 of these on the boat depending on how many people are fishing. If I'm just me by myself, I'll have 1, sometimes 2, because if you get something, a toothy critter like a wahoo, they're going to break this off, and if you're into some fish, you just want to put it to the side and grab the next one and pitch it out. But what I like about the jigs is that the jigs are going to let you cast it out, so you could throw it out to where the fish are. And these jigs are amazing technology. And again, all the brands have the jigs. You go to a good reputable tackle shop and you're going to be able to find them. And these jigs work amazing. They have this awesome movement when they're sinking, like a wounded fish, and the fish will attack it. And you could jig it up. These are excellent with, you know, blackfin tuna, mahi, all these pelagics that we have here in South Florida and the Keys. And then I've got this spooled up on an 8,000 size reel. It's a little bit heavier reel, a little bit bigger drag, and it's not too heavy for your arm when you're jigging and jigging and jigging. But I would definitely recommend having one of these at least set up. Never leave the dock without a jig. Doesn't matter what kind of fishing you're going to do. You could be going for yellowtail fishing and you're driving out to the reef and you see birds and there's tuna there, and you've got this, and you could quickly pitch it out and jig, catch some tunas, and then keep going to your next destination. So always have at least one of these on the boat. The next thing that I would tell you is that I would have a spinner with a hook on it. Ooh, hit the top of the tent. And you can see I've got this set up with a hook. When we're going mahi fishing, I've got a lot of these set up on the boat with hooks on it, pitching it out with a squid or cut bait to the mahis, tuna, whatever the pelagics that you're catching. And then when you catch it, you bring it on the boat. If you're into a bunch of mahis, you're gonna need to switch quickly. Somebody's unhooking the fish, the next one is pitching it out. And I've got these set up with different size reels. So I've got some on 8,000s, and I've got a couple of these big 12 and 14,000 size reels. These are gonna give me a lot more line in case I hook up into a really big one. A lot more line that, you know, it could run without the worry of that, you know, you're gonna get spooled. And I've got these on a little bit stiffer rod. So if we get a larger fish, we could fight it easily. But you always wanna have some of these, even if you're just going out for take one. Have one on the boat, you could put a cut bait on it, throw it out. You never know what's gonna swim up to the boat when you're out there fishing. Then the next thing that I would tell you is, if you're gonna be in Florida, trolling is a huge part of our fishery down here, and you could go out and you're gonna be able to catch fish, guys. So I've got these Tiagras right here, 30 wide, and I've got these spooled up with mono. And I like the mono because what happens with mono is it lets it stretch. So when you get those big strikes, the mono will stretch and absorb the shock. So I've got these set up, and when we're gonna go out on our trolling days, we take these out. You could buy rigged bait almost anywhere here, even some of the gas stations sell it. And you clip this thing on, you could put your lures, whatever you want, but these are ready to go. And these are set up on a little bit stiffer rod, same thing. So if you get into some bigger fish, you could fight it, and you could, you know, the rod will take a lot of the pressure off of the fish. But again, with these trolling reels, these conventional trolling reels, I would not go out and get the cheapest ones because you're gonna regret it. You want a reel that's gonna be able to enable you to fight and catch the fish. You want good drag, you want good line retrieval when you're cranking this handle, these Shimano reels. And again, it's not just Shimano, everybody's gonna make it like this, but look at the line retrieval rate. These lines are reeling in almost 4 feet of line every time you turn the handle. So you wanna get a good reel, but I would tell you, if you're gonna just start, get 2 of these. You could very easily troll 2 lines, one a little bit longer, one a little bit shorter. And as long as you don't turn too sharply, you could, as a beginner, you're not gonna tangle the lines. So I would get 2 good conventional trolling reels. And then the next thing that I would tell you is we have an excellent bottom fishing here in Florida, Gulf side, Atlantic side, and especially in South Florida and into the Keys, all the way in the Keys. And for this, you see this reel right here is a Talica 16, super light reel. This thing is ounces what it weighs, okay? And we've got this paired up on a good, strong Shimano Torres rod. And with this, again, you don't want this big, huge like the Tiagra. That's a heavy reel. You're gonna be holding this in your hand. Your hand's gonna be hurting, and you're fighting very, very powerful fish. These big munnin snappers and groupers that are at the bottom. The key with this reel, most importantly out of any reel, I would tell you, you want a reel that has power. You need a tremendous amount of drag and good line retrieval. This is also a 2-speed reel, and I like that in case you get into a very big fish. You could press the button, you change the speed, and similar to how you would change the gears on a bicycle when you're going uphill and it becomes easier to pedal, the same thing is gonna happen to the reel. You're turning the handle and it's a lot easier. But the key when you're bottom fishing for these big snapper and grouper is you've got to get that fish off the bottom before they get into structure. As soon as they get hooked, they're gonna go for safety. Those groupers are gonna go into the caves, back into the rock, back into the structure, and you're never gonna be able to get it out. So you want something that when that rod bends over, it's gonna stop that fish from moving, and you're gonna be able to crank and pull that fish up and get it off the bottom to secure your chances of landing the fish. If you don't have a good reel, your chances of landing those big fish are going to be very slim, because they're going to get into that structure, they're going to get into the rocks, they're going to get into those caves, and you're not going to be able to pull them out. So bottom fishing, I would recommend. I love these Taligas. They're super light and they are super, super strong, and you'll be able to get those fish off the bottom. So guys, super excited that people have been reaching out and watching the videos. I thank you so much for watching the videos, supporting our channel, and it makes me super excited that people are watching the videos and they want to get out there, they want to get outdoors, get out on the water, and create memories with their families and friends. So good luck out there, and thank you for watching.